A very good day to you, Zimbabwe. This is Change Radio News. Today is Friday, the 15th of August, 2025. The news read by Olive Ruzizo. And here are the headlines. Outrage as schools gift cattle to ministers. Analysts slam Garwe over 2028 election extension claims, and FBC urges clear roadmap for Zimbabwe Gold Currency. And now for the news in detail. Several schools in Mashonaland East have drawn criticism after contributing funds to buy cattle for two cabinet ministers and Education Secretary Moses Mike during a recent prize-giving ceremony. Parents called the move wasteful, saying resources should be used to improve learning facilities rather than reward officials. Each of the three dignitaries reportedly received two cattle valued at around $600 each, with schools also covering transport to their farms. The ceremony at St. Francis of Assisi High School in Chikomba recognized schools from Mashonaland East and West. Political analysts have criticized ZANU-PF Mashonaland East chairman Daniel Garwe after he declared there will be no elections in 2028 in support of President Mnangagwa's 2030 agenda, calling it political greed. Speaking at a party meeting on 11 August, Garwe said Vision 2030 was unstoppable. Analysts warned that extending Mnangagwa's term would violate the constitution, urging the opposition and citizens to unite in defending it. As public outcry over ban on importing and selling second-hand clothes grows, local government and public works minister Daniel Garwe has insisted that the ban will not be reversed, stating it was a directive from Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa. Citizens have taken to social media to express their frustration, condemning the move as yet another example of the ZANU-PF government's cruelty and abuse of power. The ban comes at a time when millions of Zimbabweans are struggling to make ends meet, relying on vending due to the country's worsening economic crisis, a direct result of ZANU-PF's failures. Amid rising discontent, many are calling for new leadership. FBC Holdings has called on the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe to provide a clear plan for de-dollarization, warning against the Zimbabwe Gold Currency, the sole legal tender without sufficient foreign currency reserves and public confidence. In its review of the 2025 midterm monetary policy statement, FB said the plan should be supported by import substitution, structural reforms, and economic diversification to reduce dependence on the US dollar. Experts warn that tight monetary policy and high interest rates defending the ZiG have already limited liquidity, slowed production, and dampened demand, and a sudden currency shift could trigger inflation, shortages, and recession. Gwanda North Member of Parliament Desire Nkala has criticized the Education Ministry's plan to discipline teachers in Bulilima district over persistently low exam pass rates. A circular from the district school's inspector revealed that more than 15 teachers have failed to record a single pass in key subjects over the past 5 years, a performance the ministry calls gross incompetence. Nkala says the move is unfair, citing a lack of furniture, laboratories, and even roofs in some rural schools. He accused the government of educational apartheid, favoring urban schools while rural pupils are left behind. Nkai South Member of Parliament Jabulani Khadebe echoed the criticism, saying rural teachers face huge classes, poor pay, and dire living conditions, with many leaving the profession. He urged that the real failure is the government and not the educators. Assistant Inspector Simbarashe Mandizhidza, who was reported missing with a police vehicle, was arrested yesterday after posting videos on social media declaring that he was taking charge of the ZRP and ordering Chinese nationals to leave Zimbabwe. Mandizhidza now faces both disciplinary and criminal charges. His actions have sparked public debate, with some citizens suggesting he may be struggling with mental health issues, while others believe there is more to his story. Farm machinery and livestock belonging to former Water Resources Minister Munacho Mutezo will be auctioned today in Odzi, Manicaland, to recover a $750,000 debt owed to his former business partner. The sale at Furnicary Farm, also known as Rutendo Farm, will include a John Deere harvester, power transformer, generators, pumps, and irrigation equipment. Mutezo has contested the auction since November, but the creditors, Des Moines Farm, says government involvement is unnecessary in this personal debt dispute. Mutezo was expelled from ZANU-PF in 2016 for allegedly backing Joyce Mujuru's bid to succeed the late Robert Mugabe. FLO Petroleum has reportedly lost nearly $40,000 to an internal fraud scheme. Manager Patience Chiringa and supervisor Ocean Gurure appeared in a Harare court charged with fraud and were granted $200 bail each. Prosecutors allege Gurure pocketed almost $6,000 from a client in April and shared it with Chiringa. An audit later uncovered nearly $40,000 missing, leading to their arrest. As the nation honors its heroes and defense forces, attention has turned to the unsung heroes struggling to survive daily hardships. In Ward 11, Kezi Matobo district, Makumalo Mbembeswane lives with her 4 grandchildren in a crumbling, grass-thatched mud house. She is appealing for assistance to rebuild a decent home, provide food, and cover school fees for the children. Well-wishers can contact her neighbor on +263 711 372 294. The number again, +263 711 372 294. During the National Heroes and Women's celebrations, Zimbabwe honored Dr. Madeline Nyamwanza Makonese, the country's first female doctor. She is celebrated for breaking barriers in the early years and inspiring generations of women to serve the nation. In economic news, Caledonia Mining Corporation, a major gold producer in Zimbabwe, listed on London's AIM, has posted strong results for the second quarter ending 30 June 2025. The growth was driven by record gold output at its Blanket mine and a significant rise in gold prices. And in news from local communities, Elisha Gumbo has proved that disability is not inability after successfully completing his law degree and is a registered legal practitioner. Gumbo is a disability rights defender. In international news, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says he was unaware that SANDF Chief General Rudzani Mapwanya visited Iran on 12 August 2025. The trip, approved by the Defense Minister Ng Motshekga, drew criticism after the general pledged common goals with Iran. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation, DIRCO, and the Defense Minister have distanced themselves while the opposition calls for a court-martial. Ramaphosa is set to meet the general this week. South Africa's Minister of Health, Aaron Motsoaledi, recently addressed the group Operation Dudula, emphasizing that the current laws allowing foreign nationals to access public health facilities will remain unchanged. He made these statements during a meeting with the group earlier this week, warning them to stop their extensive protests in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal or risk facing legal consequences. And finally, in sports news, CAF has fined the Football Association of Zambia $500 after the team failed to present their head coach at the mandatory pre-match press conference ahead of match day 1 against the DRC at Chan Pamoja 2024. CAF says the fine underscores that football requires not just performance on the pitch, but also discipline and professionalism. Series A side Atlanta is set to pursue legal action against Super Eagles forward Ademola Lookman after he left Italy without permission and skipped training in protest over the club rejecting Inter Milan's transfer bid. Beitbridge-based Bishopstone has withdrawn from the Central Region Soccer League due to financial difficulties. The club becomes the second-tier team to fold this year following James M. Busha's withdrawal from the Eastern Region League for similar reasons. To end the news bulletin, here are the headlines once again. Outrage as schools gift cattle to ministers. Analysts slam Garwe over 2028 election extension claims. And FBC urges clear roadmap for Zimbabwe Gold Currency. This concludes our bulletin for today. Thank you for listening. From myself, Olive, and the entire team at Change Radio, have a blessed weekend.